Hello and welcome to a new video of a review of a deck from my collection. Today we have here the Hitachi D5500 M. M standing for metal. This model had a sibling which was just the D5500, which wasn't able to record metal tapes. And this is a top of the line deck from Hitachi. I would put it between the 10th and the 20th position of the greatest decks of all time. It doesn't have many features. There are cheaper decks which have some special functions and we miss them here, but certainly this is a top of the line for several reasons. The first is that it's extremely well built, sound is superb, the mechanism is huge and is a double capstan with a direct drive motor which has this unitorque branding, which means that the torque of the motor is constant. It must have many poles and it produces a movement very constant to reduce wow and flutter. And also this deck has this automatic tape response system. When you're recording, it is recording now, you can press this button and the computer will make a test. We'll check for the tape, and we had them in source, so we couldn't hear the muting resulting. I press again. So lights here would blink over several seconds, performing some recordings and measurements to calibrate the bias, the gain and the equalization of the tape. And then the tape would be able to memorize the adjustments for 3 different formulations, 3 different tapes, and you could have then about 12 different remembered calibrations, 3 for metal, 3 for ferrochrome, 3 for normal tape and 3 for chrome. Sadly, this unit suffers from a disease in these models where some integrated circuit fails and it can't perform the test, even though the rest of the deck is quite well, except for the pinch rollers. They are not very well, especially the take-up pinch roller is quite damaged. But I've sanded it and treated it, and now it works. For the moment, it works quite well. I will record again. We can hear in the background the music. And switching from tape to source doesn't make a great difference. It makes very little difference because this deck is quite well preserved. Heads are, I'd say, in very good condition, and also most of the electronics except for the computer, and the sound is quite good. Besides the calibration, you could go manual if you wanted. We have to go manual, and in any case you could see here 2 indicators that are one of those unique features of this tape. It shows you the bias the bias of the tape. If we press metal, for example, it goes to 250% about. Ferrochrome 140%. Chrome is about 100%, and no, that's normal. And in Chrome you see that nearly 200% of bias, the bias power. And the sensitivity also could change. Metal is not very sensitive. Ferrochrome is most sensitive, and normally is the most sensitive tapes. Are the most sensitive tapes. So this was this special feature. Another special feature is the view meters. In this moment of the history of the tapes, there was a transition from view meters to LED display. Each one has its benefits and problems. So in some high-end decks, they decided to put both. They put some warning LEDs indicating that the level was too high. We'll try to get to it if we can play music well later. And they also kept the view meters to show all the range of the music signal. This deck has also some screws here to fine adjust the view meter. Then it has the mechanical counter. It has a special function. When the tape ends, you can select to rewind to the beginning and stop, or rewind to the beginning and play. If you wanted to play over and over, you just have to leave this button pressed. Also, you have the memory to stop in the 0 position. Let's check it. I don't know if it works. It does. It works. Right? The tape source selection, the Dolby, this deck still has only Dolby B, but has MPX filter on the front, and the knobs for the output volume and the recording volume from the line and from the microphone. The microphone inputs are here, together with the phone input. Now I'm going to show you the internals. Here we have the internals. To show it, I've unscrewed this board, which easily basculates, and we can see some strange for the era components. This is a very strange component. I haven't researched in the manual what it is. Also, these very thin chips, I don't know what they are. They maybe one of them has failed. They have the Hitachi brand on them, and I've done a small research, and there seems to be several, maybe 2 boards for the computerized calibration of the tape. And so they must be here, and probably this other deck. Even though you can see a lot of wires coming and going from everywhere to everywhere, this deck is actually not that difficult to work with. It's not extremely difficult. You can reach this board from the side and you can work on it. There are also many connections. You can remove them easily and plug again. So this made the work easier. The front panel is quite easy to remove. The mechanism is also easy to take apart and work. That must be the power supply board. Yeah, it says that's the power supply board. This must be the fine-tuning board. And this is probably the logic board to control the movement of every moving part of the mechanism, which is here. Mechanism sadly is quite well covered. There's a back plate hiding most of the mechanism, and it's a pity because I think it should have 2 big flywheels, which are nice to watch always. This must be the rewind, fast forward and rewind button motor. Has one solenoid here, I don't know what it is, and there must be another. There it is. That thing on the bottom must be the big solenoid for the head block to move it up and down. Now we're going to see the back side. Here is the back side, and as you can see, it has more than the usual things for a deck. The most special thing is this battery compartment that I am opening right now. You could place two AA batteries here, and the deck would save the calibration of the tape that is being recorded, or that is being used and recorded in a special RAM memory, and that RAM memory is power supplied with these batteries. Then we have two sets or even three sets of input and outputs. We have the DIN microphone and DIN rec play. When you use DIN, you need only one connector for the rec and play, whereas you have RCA, you need two inputs and two outputs. And then you could choose to use or not use the DIN input and output with this button, but you could choose also between a variable input and output and a fixed input and output. And when you press this button, you select these two sets of input and outputs, and this is a reset for the microprocessor in case something was wrong or it didn't work, or you wanted to erase what has recorded about previous tapes. You pressed here and you make a complete reset. Let's go back to the front. You can see now the LEDs blinking. So I managed to get some volume up, so when the LED, the signal is too high, you could be warned by these LEDs. And as you know, you have to take care if the music is too high when recorded for the ferrochrome tape, for the ferric, for the normal tape. Okay, so another special thing that made this deck one of the greatest is that it has this. This is actually a remote control. You press here and you can remove this, and this becomes a remote. You can see the infrared emitter here and the infrared receiver here. You could place batteries here, and then you could use as a remote. But I don't have batteries right now. I haven't tested it. I haven't managed to get test on them, and so I can't use. I place it back. Okay, let's play more music. The same again. Okay, here we are. Let's turn it a bit down. Works very, very well. Sounds very well. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching. And